Hey guys, it's Mark Rodriguez here for the second episode of TMNT Unpackaging. Because yes, I got a bunch of these turtle figures here and there that are still in original packaging, and I'm going to show them off to you one by one, or should I say 3 by 3, 4 by 4, I don't know. And the thing is, I want to do it in a way that each episode I unpackage 3 of the actual figures and then show one of my older figures from before that's already been opened up and stuff like that from a previous toy line, so to speak, not necessarily the Nick one. But yeah, without further ado, let's get things started. We're going to show off one of the turtles, and we're going to show off 2 of the bad guys of the Nickelodeon series. But yeah, let's get this started. And the first one I got here is Raphael, the hothead here, and yes, tough, quick to react, and hot-tempered. Raphael's a power keg, ready to explode, and unsuspecting enemies everywhere. The biggest of his mutant brothers, Raph has a why sneak around when you can bash some heads instead attitude. Master of the twin size, these 3-pronged blades are the perfect reflection of their owner, sharp and to the point. So yes, there's Raphael. That's Raph in a nutshell. And again, these toys, I think it came out pretty close to like when the series premiered and everything, so it gave us a lot of insight of what to expect, of what they're going to look like and everything. And we noticed little things like Raphael got some cracks in his shell, presumably because he's more in your face, probably bites harder than the others. Give me 1 second here. And you know, little things like that. Mikey got freckles. Donatello's got the gap in his tooth that some people complain about. I'm not sure if you guys are used to it by now. And this is okay. Well, the sides are stuck with good old tape. The other little weapon rack is no, they're not tape. What is this? Okay. How's this packaged here? So weird. Everything is really pressured on here. Well, the main figure himself is also added by pressure. You just pop him out. He already comes out in a badass, I'm gonna kick some ass kind of pose here. And of course, I'll get a zoom in on him later. Okay, as here's Raphael more close up. I got the weapons out, and unlike Michelangelo, that almost like it was so hard to put the nunchuck into his right hand. Here, the sides just fit in so good. It fit in no problem. And you can see Raphael looks pissed. He's got the crack in the shell. It's very distinctive of him. And of course, he has the articulation to raise and lower his arms, and also open or close his arms. And there's the detail on the shell there. There's the holes to put the sides in the back. And there's all the detail. And like I mentioned before, the Turtles, when they first came out, these feet look kind of different from the cartoon. I guess they didn't like get the full idea yet of what they're going to look like, or they didn't get the memo or whatever. But future figures do have the feet looking more like it. And one thing I noticed also is that Raphael can actually like move his head to the side or something, like it's kind of sneering or something. I don't really see that many figures with that kind of, I assume Mikey and the other turtles too, but yeah, I don't see people with that kind of articulation. But yeah, he's pretty cool, and he's ready to kick some ass. Now the next figure is one of the new mutant henchmen that is going to appear in the new show, and the series is coming out and everything. People were wondering about, you know, the bad guys and all that. And yeah, I mean, eventually we did get Beat Up Rocksteady, but at first we had Dog Pound and Fishface. And this is the first one here. Is Dog Pound, obviously a very big figure, because that's the thing. He's a big dude. And here it says, 1 part man, 1 part mutt. Dog Pound is all evil. Mutated from martial arts master Chris Bradford, this razorback brawler has been reborn with bite and fight that'll rival any Teen Turtle he faces. Fiercely loyal to the Foot Clan, I was going to say Shredder, fiercely loyal to the Foot Clan, Dog Pound's off his leash and off his rocker, and ready to tear into anyone foolish enough to face him. And yes, that's Dog Pound, and he was actually in a cartoon in a couple of episodes as his regular Chris Bradford self, which he basically looked like Chuck Norris and everything. So let me just get this up here. Okay. Ah, he's got something in his back here. Okay. So he's actually held back by twist ties. Let me just untie him really quickly. Yeah, it's a big guy. And yeah, these figures, there's always like these toy cons and stuff like that, you know, coming out giving previews of upcoming toys, or even upcoming toys based on shows, like before the shows themselves are even out, which in this case was the Turtles. People were already looking at Dog Pound and giving their opinions that he might be cool or whatever. There he is. This big ass figure here. And the most noticeable detail, of course, is that one of his hands is damn huge while the other one is... Well, I don't think it's that... Well, okay. I think in the cartoon it's a bit more noticeable, but he also comes with... Let me see here. Comes with a tail that you can just pop into his back there. There you go. I think that's... There you go. And he also, his back is all bladey and stuff, so that also gets attached to the... Whoop, tail just fell off. It, okay, that actually snapped on. But this doesn't look like... Okay, this looks like it might... Come on. Okay, now it's dirty. And of course, we'll have a bit of a close-up of him too. The tail keeps falling off. Give me one moment while I deal with Dog Pound's tail. Now we got Dog Pound. Yeah, this massive size figure. He just looks pissed and ready to eat you alive. I like how the cartoon CGI, I mean, it literally looked like the figure himself coming to life. And there's this big ass figure here. The only thing, of course, like most cartoons, most figures from Playmates, are kind of lazy with the paint job stuff. All of these spikes are also supposed to be white, not just like, you know, not brown or whatever. But he's got this one covered and this one here. One thing that I noticed in the cartoon is that apparently like this whole hand looks like it's made out of bone or something. That was kind of weird. And like I said before, he has some big old spiky back here, and he's got his tail that keeps kind of falling out. Like the back had a thing, I think you probably heard the snap when I snapped it in, but the tail just keeps popping out. And he came with no real weapons or nothing. Not that he has one in the cartoon anyway, but it was mostly just a detachable tail and detachable spiky back and everything. But there's Dog Pound. Bam. And now we have Fishface, which is another guy named Sever, and I'll tell you a little bit about him in a bit. Fishface, Shredder's underworld underwater thug. A thug with no equal, Fishface was once Sever, the street urchin recruited by the Foot Clan for his incredible criminal skills. Mutated by the Clan, this crook's become even more crooked thanks to his hybrid body. Forced to rely on powerful robotic legs and an external water-breathing rig, Fishface may be a fish out of water, but it doesn't stop him from being the turtle's most cutthroat enemy. And yes, that's the interesting things about Fishface is that despite the fact that they came out as a pair, I mean, you know, these figures came out at the same time, and he's in the intro and all that stuff, Fishface, it took a long time for him to actually be in the cartoon. I mean, first of all, when he mutated, the episodes focused more on Dog Pound, and Fishface was literally a fish. And you know, in the way that he can't breathe out of water or anything, he had to stay in the water. So he was in a couple episodes just swimming around Shredder's pool and not being able to do anything. And there was even an episode where Baxter would use crank technology to eventually make robot legs and a breathing device for him and everything. And but even then, you know how the cartoons work. It's not all about Shredder. Some episodes are still about the Crank or random mutants. So that still just drug it out more and more and more until finally Fishface had his robot legs. And here he is. I'll show more details later. And it took forever to finally see Fishface and Dog Pound together against the turtle. So that was pretty interesting. And he comes with a big-ass sword trident thing that I never seen him use in the cartoon. And he came with these little switchblades here. I wish it was two of them. And yeah, he does use those in the cartoon, but it sure took him a long time to actually use them. So yeah, these are the figures. Okay, so here's Fishface. The weapons are very loose in his hands, which is kind of weird. And this weapon is just kind of awkward, and I particularly don't care. I never use it in the cartoon anyway. And here's the breathing device here. Here's like the oxygen tank or whatever you want to call it, so you could breathe in, you know, and it's clever. It's attached to his gills, so he's breathing like water or whatever. And yeah, here's the robot leg stuff with the crank tech on it. And of course, the legs are robotic because Fishface, quite literally, he is just like a giant talking fish with arms. He has no legs at all, so he needs these robot legs, and they're of course programmed with his mind or whatever, so he could, you know, use them and stuff like he would any normal legs. So yeah, it's a pretty cool figure, pretty cool articulation. He's one of the more, you know, just how this character is. He's one of the most weirdly built character in terms of how thin he is, how his body's shaped. He's just a very interesting figure, and I believe he'll have no problem standing because these are pretty big feet. But the way he's arced, I mean, we'll soon see. But yeah, here's a zoom in of Fishface right there. And now for the figure that's already been opened before. This is a special gift from a friend here. Shout out to Jake. They're watching this video. This is not Playmates though. This is from NECA. This is a company that makes, like, I guess they make like those realistic horror figures like Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, all that stuff. But they also grab random series. And they decided to go to Turtles, but based on their original issue 1 Mirage Comics incarnation. And this is Michelangelo. In case you guys don't know this, of course, in the comic books, the Turtles all wear red bandanas. So no, it's not a mist color. Even Leonardo and Donatello have red bandanas too. And the thing is that at this time I was still in Mexico when I found out all the news reports, all like, oh, these figures are coming out. Oh, here's some pictures on it. Oh my God, it looks so fucking awesome. But it's like, well, yeah, I'm in Mexico. I'm never gonna get these. And well, Jake seems to live near a comic book shop, and he had those, so he got me 3 of them. So that's pretty cool. So here's one of them. And like I said, here's the close-ups. And then we got Michelangelo, the original Mirage version of Michelangelo. Still got a bit of a smile to remind him, even though in the first issue everybody was so serious, even him. And yeah, like I said, all the Turtles were red. They got cool weapons. Weapons are, of course, very detailed and colored, because these are more expensive and more detailed than your regular figures. They're not really supposed to, like, for kids to play with. It's more like an adult collector set. So there's a lot of attention to detail. You can see all the details, like even the stuff on the shell looks kind of inky because it's supposed to represent like the black and white Mirage comics and everything. See all these lines on the shell and stuff. The belt, it all looks like ink details, ink splotches. I believe there were actually variants of these that were purposely black, like all black and white to represent, like they just jumped out of the black and white page. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And cool levels of articulation, and you know, big feet here, they got no problems. They didn't make too many of these. They made just the Turtles in April. Basically Turtles in April, I think. And I guess bobblehead versions or whatever. Originally they wanted to release like the Shredder, the Foot Elite, and the Foot Ninjas. I was so excited about that. For whatever reason it just didn't go through. But yeah, there's Mikey. Now for the main question, can they stand? And yes, Raphael seems to have no problems. Of course, again, with the big feet and stuff, like I said, the bigger a figure is, like, the more, yeah, balance. And let's see, Dog Pound, of course, is a real big dude here. But he also has big feet. He has that same Shredder thing where I guess his legs opening. Oh, wait, we can still kind of pose on. Well, let's kind of see here. It's kind of hard to tell though, because the bad thing is that this arm here is going to definitely have a bit of a weight difference here, but he looks like someone that isn't going to fall over too easy. I think maybe the tail might have something to do with kind of help counter the weight. But yeah, he looks like he's going to stand just fine. And as for Fishface, let's see, because he's kind of a weird looking figure here, and he's kind of, I don't know, he's just bent all weird. Out of the package, he's bent all weird. And, his legs have kind of limited articulation, but they seem to stick pretty good to the ground there. And let me just kind of, he might tip a little, but doesn't look like he's really gonna fall. It's just, I would have preferred the legs being a bit more firmly to the ground. As you can see, he's still kind of sort of like not really firmly planted down like I would have liked, but I guess he's fine. I got rid of that other weapon because, like I said, it doesn't use it in the cartoon, and it just fits real loose in his hand. And of course, now we got NECA Mikey. Let me get him a bit more. Sorry, Fishface. Let me get him a bit more. Now, one thing I do like about the cartoon, add a bit more realism, is that in the cartoon, Fishface and Bradford, I mean, that's their real names, Bradford and Sever. And Mikey is the one, since he likes to name bad guys and stuff, that calls them Fishface and Dog Pound. But really, if some random dude just said, you know, I'm going to call you, I don't know, Big Nose or something, you're not going to suddenly go running around calling yourself Big Nose, you know. So, well, like I said, these guys, they still keep their real names. And Shredder and them, he still refers to them as as Chris and Sever. So that's a good detail. That's kind of realistic. I kind of like that. Because honestly, Shredder would even have no way of knowing he wasn't there when they fought. He would have no way of knowing that Mikey just gave him these stupid-ass names. And it gives the toy people a good excuse to give them stupid-ass names. But yeah, Mikey's pretty good. The feet are also kind of weird. I don't like how this one's kind of tiptoy or whatever. But I guess it's not bad enough as to not let them stand. Alright guys, so here they are on the display case here. See Raphael there alongside his buddies. Because of course we're going to leave some empty space there for whenever we get Donatello out. Probably next episode just to get them out there. Get all 4 of them in front. And I got Mirage Mikey here with the other turtles, because he's basically like a different version here. We got, of course, the Pop Vinyl 80s turtles, Rocksteady, another Donatello, also based on the 80s version. Oh, this Raphael looks pretty hardcore. I kind of think he might be based more on Mirage than the 80s, but yeah. And we got Dog Pound and Fishface there defending their master. And of course it does bring out like the thing what most fans thought when they first had the designs and everything out, that Dog Pound was basically going to be like the new Hun of the series in terms of, you know, Shredder's big bad muscle bound enforcer. But one big difference though is that Dog Pound of course has Fishface to kind of bounce off of, and Hun never really had like, you know, like another kind of thing. And of course when the characters first came out, people were asking about being Rocksteady, they're going to be in a brand new show, and the creators said, well, the roles are already kind of filled as we got these two, but as you guys know, eventually we would get them too. And I got their figures too, so spoilers for the future. Anyways guys, we'll see you all next time, and I think these guys are going to have to, I mean, I don't know, especially Piccolo in the Ghostbusters car, because this turtle thing is going to get a little bit crowded. See you all next time for more Turtles unpackaging videos.